Ladies and gentlemen, good day everyone and welcome to Vipshop Holdings Limited's first quarter 2024 earnings conference call. At this time, I would like to turn the call to Ms. Jessie Zhang, Vipshop's Head of Investor Relations. Please proceed.
Thank you, Operator. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining Vipshop's first quarter 2024 earnings conference call. With us today are Eric Shen, Co-founder, Chairman, and CEO, and Mark Wang, our CFO. Before management begins their prepared remarks, I would like to remind you that the discussion today will contain forward-looking statements made under the safe harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements are subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially from our current expectations. Potential risks and uncertainties include, but are not limited to, those outlined in our safe harbor statements in our earnings release and public filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission, which also applies to this call to the extent any forward-looking statements may be made. Please note that certain financial measures used on this call, such as non-GAAP operating income, non-GAAP net income, and non-GAAP net income per ADS, are not presented in accordance with U.S. GAAP. Please refer to our earnings release for details relating to the reconciliations of our non-GAAP measures to GAAP measures. With that, I would now like to turn the call over to Mr. Eric Shen.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining our first quarter 2024 earnings conference call. We had a slow quarter in terms of business momentum, but profit grew much faster than sales. In the face of the shortfall of the top line, we stayed flexible to operate most effectively while focusing on priorities to enhance long-term strength. In the first quarter, sales growth moderated as the quarter progressed. After a strong start, seasonal demand for spring clothes was softer than expected in March. But for the full quarter, apparel category continued to stand out with double-digit GMV growth year-over-year. Customer spending proved resilient. In the first quarter, active Super VIP members increased by 11% from a year ago and accounted for 45% of our online spending. That's a healthy indication of the trust, value, and ease of the shopping we've created for them. We came into the year by responding to the changes in customer behaviors and continuously refining our approach to navigate a still dynamic environment. All that we do centers upon increasing our apparel to customers beyond our existing base. We expand into what customers like and what makes us different. We provide great value that customers are looking for every day. On merchandise expansion, we continue to see plentiful supply in the industry, and we are happy with our access to quality brand inventory. We are building a wide-ranged assortment based on our broad and deep brand relationships. A steady flow of select national and global brands keep us up to date to provide more treasure hunting deals for our customers. Our team's merchandising expertise really fuels better brand portfolio with product mix at a range of discount levels. We remain dominant in our share of deep discount branded products, even as consumers have to make disciplined buying choice. Our customers continue to welcome affordable selections. The Made for Vipshop line further gives us the ability to meet the needs of customers who are more style and price cautious. Through 180 well-known brand partners, we managed to more than double the supply of customized products from a year ago. We are pleased to see that made-for-VIP products are more preferred by high-quality customers, who tend to place more repeat orders in apparel categories. Across geographies, we see people are closely looking for value. We have got a good chance to grow our share of value spending. We continue to drive value for our customers beyond the compelling price. In addition to promotion, customers buy our brand offerings because they receive the combination of price, quality, and service. They are conscious of product authenticity, so they rely on our offerings. They like simplified promotions and seamless returns and exchanges. All these things make it easy in the shopping experience, which lead to great repeat purchase. That's how we different from others. We are also taking initiatives to enhance the loyalty program. In the first quarter, we launched private sales and a special offering for Super VIP members to enjoy additional privileges. It's a good start to building more online and offline connection to our loyal customers. Initial results are encouraging. Within the company, we continue to reinforce our efforts to gain efficiencies. We are working to design better progress and deploy the latest technology in our business. For example, we are applying AI-generated model photos and product videos to optimize our marketing efforts and help brand partners engage with their customers more effectively. With the potential to improve engagement and conversion, we expect to drive further adoption of this solution over the course of the year. While we are cautious in our near-term outlook, we remain confident in our ability to generate long-term results. Our unique value proposition allows us to service in the best interest of brand partners and grow high-quality customers across age and income cohorts. We believe we have the solid foundations to capture the opportunity we see to grow our business in the years ahead. At this point, let me hand over the call to our CFO, Mark Wang, to go over our financial results.
Okay, thanks, Eric, and hello, everyone. We are pleased to record another quarter of strong profit growth despite the tepid top-line performance. In the first quarter, our team executed well, moving quickly in response to the dynamic operating environment to drive efficiency gains. As a result, margins all remain very healthy. More specifically, consolidated gross margin increased to 23.7% from 21.4% a year ago, primarily with the help of higher margin category mix from apparel sales. Non-GAAP net margin attributable to Vipshop's shareholders expanded to another record high of 9.3% from 7.5% a year ago, aided by our ongoing efforts to maintain operating discipline. As consumers remain budget conscious and value driven, we were reinforcing our value proposition across our merchandise offering to deliver the affordability that better fits into consumer preference. And we will focus on priorities to capture the growth opportunity we see with brand partners and customers. We believe with solid business fundamentals and a great financial position, we are able to deliver quality growth, good profitability, as well as consistent shareholder return for the long term. Looking to 2025, for the benefit of our shareholders, we plan to commit no less than 75% of our full year 2024 non-GAAP net income attributable to Vipshop's shareholders in discretionary share repurchase and/or dividend distributions. Now moving to our detailed quarterly financial highlights. Before I get started, I would like to clarify that all financial numbers present below are in renminbi, and all the percentage change are year-over-year change, unless otherwise noted. Total net revenues for the first quarter of 2024 increased by 0.4% year-over-year to RMB 27.6 billion from RMB 27.5 billion in the prior year period. Gross profit increased by 10.9% year-over-year to RMB 6.5 billion from RMB 5.9 billion in the prior year period. Gross margin increased to 23.7% from 21.4% in the prior year period. Total operating expenses increased by 0.6% year-over-year to RMB 4.09 billion from RMB 4.06 billion in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, total operating expenses for the first quarter of 2024 was 14.8%, compared with 14.7% in the prior year period. Fulfillment expenses increased by 11.3% year-over-year to RMB 2.0 billion from RMB 1.8 billion in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, fulfillment expenses was 7.2%, compared with 6.5% in the prior year period. Marketing expenses decreased by 17.4% year-over-year to RMB 690.9 million from RMB 836.9 million in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, marketing expenses decreased to 2.5% from 3.0% in the prior year period. Technology and content expenses increased by 22.7% year-over-year to RMB 481.9 million from RMB 392.8 million in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, technology and content expenses was 1.7%, compared with 1.4% in the prior year period. General and administrative expenses decreased by 11.3% year-over-year to RMB 929.1 million from RMB 1.0 billion in the prior year period. As a percentage of total net revenues, general and administrative expenses decreased to 3.4% from 3.8% in the prior year period. Income from operations increased by 39.0% year-over-year to RMB 2.8 billion from RMB 2.0 billion in the prior year period. Operating margin increased to 10.0% from 7.2% in the prior year period. Non-GAAP income from operations increased by 33.4% year-over-year to RMB 3.1 billion from RMB 2.3 billion in the prior year period. Non-GAAP operating margin increased to 11.1% from 8.3% in the prior year period. Net income attributable to Vipshop shareholders increased by 24.6% year-over-year to RMB 2.3 billion from RMB 1.9 billion in the prior year period. Net margin attributable to Vipshop shareholders increased to 8.4% from 6.8% in the prior year period. Net income attributable to Vipshop shareholders per diluted ADS increased to RMB 4.18 from RMB 3.16 in the prior year period. Non-GAAP net income attributable to Vipshop shareholders increased by 24.8% year-over-year to RMB 2.6 billion from RMB 2.1 billion in the prior year period. Non-GAAP net margin attributable to Vipshop shareholders increased to 9.3% from 7.5% in the prior year period. Non-GAAP net income attributable to Vipshop shareholders per diluted ADS increased to RMB 4.66 from RMB 3.52 in the prior year period. As of March 31st, 2024, the company had cash and cash equivalents and a restricted cash of RMB 24.6 billion and short-term investments of RMB 2.9 billion. Looking forward to the second quarter of 2024, we expected our total net revenues to be between RMB 26.5 billion and RMB 27.9 billion, representing a year-over-year decrease of approximately 5% to 10% to 0%. Please note that this forecast reflects our current and preliminary view of the market and the operational conditions, which is subject to change. With that, I would now like to open the call to Q&A.
Thank you, dear participants. If you wish to ask a question, please press star 11 on your telephone keypad and wait for your name to be announced. To withdraw a question, please press star 11 again. If you are bilingual, please ask your question in both languages. Thank you so much for your consideration. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. This will take a few moments. And now we're going to take our first question. And it comes from the line of Alicia Yap from Citigroup. Your line is open. Please ask your question.
Hi. Good morning. Good evening, management. Thanks for taking my questions. I have a question regarding the guidance. So just curious in terms of what's the drivers and factors that you have been factored into your latest second quarter revenue guidance. Is that related to the demand has been a little bit sluggish, or you actually factor in a higher return rate? So any colors you can provide in terms of how you see the second quarter trends and demand would be helpful. Thank you.
Alicia 的问题主要是问我们的 guidance 考虑到哪些因素，是需求的这个放缓，还是更高的退货率，任何的这个都可以。
对，就是我们 Q2 的那个预估会比较低，考虑几方面吧。一个呢，就是我们因为那个春装嘛，就是说因为尤其3月份的那个气候的原因， 那么春装其实销售的窗口比较短嘛，那么我们说这个其实在 Q2 的这个换季的机会，销售机会没有了。第二点呢，就是说其实我们考虑到去年的 Q2， 我们其实业绩增长还是蛮不错的，就是说其实整体的基数比较高。那么第三点呢，就是说我们其实在那个就是说我们那个在 Q2 的时候啊，我们其实因为那个叫什么呢，在那个投放上面，那么我们其实比较谨慎的。那么因为我们是觉得就是看比较稳健的基本盘和利润，那么那个整体的 Q2 的市场竞争还是比较激烈，那么我们其实没有大规模补贴用户。那么补贴用户啊，包括拓展用户啊，其实有一些摇摆的用户流失了。那么第四点呢，我们考虑到就是其实我们的那个整体的退货率啊，那么其实我们说随着这几年的情况等于一直也在涨，那么包括尤其是像我们的 SVIP 持续在增加，那么那个它的退货率就高。另外呢，就是用户的在电商购物的这种习惯啊，就是说退货也比较简单方便，所以说总体我们自己认为大概这几方面的原因吧。
Okay, for the Q2 guidance, we actually have factored a number of considerations. First, we had a extended winter and also early summer, which actually shortens the window for apparel sales for spring clothing. And the apparel sales, it really depends on the right timing, especially during the seasonal shift. And second, we face a tough comp, a high base from the same quarter last year, which we really did very well. That does not favor us. And third, we still have a very dynamic industry, so we focus on stabilizing our core business to maintain solid profitability. We have not invested in large-scale subsidies and marketing spend to acquire customers very aggressively. This has resulted in some loss of sales from customers who swing among different platforms. And lastly, the return rate you mentioned, yes, it's been up. It's primarily because of the higher contribution from our SVIP members, who are still growing very nicely. It also ties to customers' behavior, who are used to who likes to return and exchange when they shop among different e-commerce platforms.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Dear participants, as a reminder, if you wish to ask a question over the phone, please press star 11 on your telephone keypad and wait for your name to be announced. Now we're going to take our next question. And the question comes to the line of Ronald Kuhn from Goldman Sachs. Your line is open. Please ask your question.
谢谢山总 Mark 和 IR 团队。那想问两个提问，第一呢，就是我们这个3月应该看到一些 softness， 但我们现在这个2季度的指引其实是因为4月的这个 run rate 还是我们是考虑5、6月的这个去年基数，就想看我们是对这个比如说要把这我们的那个annual 的这个 festival 我们6.6那是有什么一个预期。然后这个第二个提问呢，就是想问这个 shareholder return 这边，就看到我们一季度可能回购了不到1200万的这个美金的这个，那但里边管理层也说会在今年内计划花5个亿，那这个是不是我们 expect 这个未来3个季度这个回购的力度会加大？那让我翻译一下。Thank you, management, for taking my question. My first question is, want to ask you, have we seen was the first quarter kind of softness mainly due to March? And then as we guide this 0 to -5, are we basing this on April trends, or are we expecting it's a base issue mostly for May and June, particularly the shopping festival, our June 16th festival into compared with last year? Second is on shareholder return. We've seen we've bought back around 11.9 million of shares worth of shares in the first quarter, but then the announcement says we're committed to up to 500 million by the end of this year. Does that imply a significant step up in the share buybacks in the remaining 3 quarters? Thank you.
我先回答第一个问题，就是说我们其实 Q2 从4月到现在，其实我们看到整体的这个销售情况嘛，就是说我们其实没有达到我们当年的预期，所以说我们觉得就是说我们等于要重新调整一下。那么另外呢，我们也担心就是后面的因为促销，包括其实现在的618都是从5月20号就开始干了，所以一直干1个月，所以说其实像这种促销季的话呢，跟去年也不一样了，所以说我们其实还是抱着谨慎的态度吧，觉得就是说就是说对我们来讲，可能生意涨一点跌一点属于正常，那么但是呢，就是说我们还是要相对保守一点来做这个预期，所以这是我回答的第一个问题啊。第二个问题 Mark 来回答。
On your first question, actually quarter to date, sales momentum has been softer than expected, and we are doing our best to try to adjust the business and try to execute right. And given a lengthened, extended promotional season, it started from this year. It started from May 20th. It is going to last for 1 month, and it's quite different from the situation we faced last year. So we try to remain cautious about the sales momentum going forward. Any ups and downs, so we will be try to be conservative in terms of the outlook, and also we will continue to be quite disciplined in our operations.
Okay. Thanks for your question. For the second question regarding the shareholders' returns, okay? Let me answer you in this way, okay? We're committed to a long-term shareholder return policy, and we'll continue to use the combination of buyback and the dividend to provide shareholders with relatively stable and consistent annual returns. We have returned over $2.2 billion to shareholders since April 2021 in the form of buyback and dividends. For 2024, we have adopted an annual dividend policy and announced a $250 million dividend. In addition, we are steadily buying back shares and are committed to repurchasing approximately $500 million by December 31st, 2024. This implies that we will almost utilize the remaining amount of the existing $1 billion 2-year buyback program by year end. Furthermore, looking to 2025, for the benefit of our shareholders, we plan to commit no less than 75% of our full year 2024 non-GAAP net income attributable to Vipshop shareholders in discretionary share repurchase and or dividend distributions. All I mentioned above regarding the history records and the future planning shows our determination and insistence to return value to our shareholder in a long-term, stable, and consistent way. Hope this answers your question. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Shan Shan and Mark.
Thank you. Now we're going to take our next question. And the next question comes to the line of Eddie Wang from Morgan Stanley. Your line is open. Please ask your question.
沈总 Mark、Jessie 你们好，对，感谢接受我的提问。我这边可能有几个问题啊。第一个就是说，沈总也提到关于竞争嘛，那短期之内，我相信就是说，也像沈总说的，可能就是说，这个竞争对我们的影响有一些波动。但是我们看到就是说，一些比较大的电商平台，他们其实现在可能是把这个包括像补贴作为竞争的手段，会长期实施。我不知道就是说，从一个在稍微长期的维度来看，沈总就是我们的这个战略上会不会，也就是说适当的，比如说补贴一下客户，还是说我们可能会比较坚持我们现在的就是 focus on 我们的这个定位，然后就是整个 SVIP 方面更好的服务的增加他们的复购啊等等的。对，这个是我的第一个问题。然后第二个问题其实也跟第一个问题相关，因为的确是看到就是说用户在一季度如果看这个同比来说的话，还是就是有一个下降嘛。这个当然就沈总前面也提到了是跟竞争相关的。就我不知道就是说，因为之前沈总也说过，就是我们对整个客户还是有就增长还是有一些就是说诉求的嘛。那我不知道就是说往今后看的话，我们会不会有一些更大的措施，就是把那些客户再拉回来啊。第三个还是就是一个 follow up 的小问题啊，就是说我看到这个 AOV 的这个增长，就是或者 GMV per order 吧，这个数字还是上升的。这个是因为就是说我们 SVIP 的这个比重上升他们买的这个他们的客单还是会高一点，还是由于其他的原因这个我想问一下。对，那我自己翻译一下。Thank you for taking my question. So my first question is about the competition. As Shen mentioned that we have seen a more intense competition from peers, especially in terms of the subsidy they granted. So I understand in the short term we may stick to our current strategy, but if you take a relatively long-term view, will we also follow suit this the more aggressive like the subsidy strategy, or we will continue to stick to our current strategy? And second is the user side. We record a yearly decline for the user in the first quarter of this year. So just want hear your view on your user growth, the strategy in this year and in the longer term. And the third one is about the AOV. So we see that AOV in this quarter actually increased on a year-over-year basis. So is this because of the proportion of the SVIP the users coming up, so their AOV is higher, or any other reasons actually lead to a higher AOV in this quarter? Thank you.
好，我回答这几个问题啊。第一点就是问就是我们接下来的方向啊。那么对我们来讲呢，其实我们因为是做品牌特卖嘛，所以说我们其实还是继续坚持做品牌特卖。因为现在电商很多，那么竞争激烈，那么每家都是不同的特色。但是我们越明白，就是我们其实还是要坚持做好我们自己这个品牌特卖。那么另外呢，就是说我们等于要更多的好货，那么更多的好价格的商品，那么我们说给我们的用户，那么其实这也是我们用户等于一直没离开我们的原因。所以说这是我们的接下来的那个方向，包括我们等于继续会持续的跟很多品牌继续在深度合作，那么我们把更好的货品搬过来。那么这是我们说的第一个问题。第二个问题呢，就是说我们 Q1 的Q2 的时候啊，就是说就 Q1 的时候，我们其实因为在投放上面我们对 LTV 卡的比较严，那么高于多少我们就不投，那么导致说我们其实那么很多不投了以后呢，就或者说加上竞争，就是有些对价格比较敏感的这种摇摆的用户，其实没有获取到或者离开。那么另外呢，但是呢我们自己的 SVIP 跟我们的核心用户还是很稳健的，所以说我们在 Q2 也会调整一些策略，就是我们会适当放松一些我们的LTV 的获客标准。那么对我们来讲，我们还是希望争取有更多的用户来啊，但是呢我们要求是高质量的啊。 那么刚刚忘了，就第一个问题回复的，就是说好像我忘了，因为你有问那个是不是我们也补贴嘛？但我们自己觉得我们不用补贴。那么对我们来讲，别人补贴的比较热闹，我们就不补贴。我们还是一直以来我们其实都不怎么用补贴。但是呢，就是说我们其实在获客方面，我们后续我们可能会适当激进点，也不是乱来啊。那么这是我的第二个问题。回答第二个问题。第三个问题呢，就关于 GMV 呢，就你看到是比如说我们用户的 UP 在增加嘛，就是整体的 UP 在增加，但是那个我们自己里面看到就是我们 SVIP 的那么整体的 UP 那个增的比普通用户高蛮多，所以说我们其实也回应了，就是说刚刚第一个问题也有问到的，就是后续我们还是更好的服务好我们的 SVIP。那么毕竟我们这些 SVIP 占我们一半的生意嘛，那么我们持续服务好，另外呢我们继续在扩充我们的那个 SVIP， 那么争取就是说虽然我们的用户基数不及别的平台这么多，但是我们相信我们讲的这些长期忠实的用户也能给我们创造很大的价值。
So on the first question on competition, actually, our strategy has been and will continue to be laser focused on branded discount retail. There are many e-commerce platforms nowadays, but each has its unique value proposition, and our uniqueness lies in our capability to serve in the best interest of brand partners and to deliver best value to our customers. That's why we have so many loyal customers on our platform who seldom leave us. We will continue to broaden and deepen our relationships with more brand partners to bring in a steady flow of the right merchandise offerings to deliver value to our customers who are looking at brand quality and the product authenticity, etc. In terms of subsidy, we wouldn't want to follow our industry peers to blindly investing in large-scale subsidies. Of course, we will be prudently aggressive in customer acquisition, but we will continue to focus on acquiring high-quality customers. On your second question, in terms of the marketing spend, in Q1, we had a slight decline in active customers. That's because we have very strict requirements on LTV. As long as it's higher than a certain level, we would stop, investing in marketing spend. We realize that in the face of competition and especially in price competition, there are some customers who are more driven by subsidy or more price sensitive. They actually have swung to other platforms. But on the other hand, SVIP, the core customer base, has been quite resilient. They're still growing at double digit in terms of customer base, and their ARPU is still going up faster than the average customer. Having said that, entering into the Q2, we will be a little bit more aggressive in terms of acquiring customers. After all, we want to bring in more new customers to our platform, but only those who are high quality. So we will cautiously relax our restrictions in terms of our LTV to make sure we continue to acquire customers in an effective and efficient way. And lastly, on the GMV per customer, the trend, actually, if we look at the ARPU trend, that's more representative of the of the customer momentum. SVIP members are still gaining very good traction. As I mentioned earlier, their ARPU are growing faster than the average customers. It demonstrated that as long as we serve in the best interest of our SVIP members, providing them with the right merchandise offerings as well as the best in class services, they will continue to shop with us, and they will shop more and come more. So in the future, we will continue to drive the expansion of our SVIP customer base. We believe that our core customer cohorts are a very strong foundation for us to maintain quality growth as well as good profitability.
Excuse me, Eddie, do you have any further questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Dear speakers, there are no further questions for today. I would now like to hand the conference over to our speaker, Jessie Zheng, for any closing remarks.
Thank you for taking the time to join us today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact our IR team. We look forward to speaking with you next quarter.
That does conclude our conference for today. Thank you for participating. You may now all disconnect. Have a nice day.